I want to be the Alex Mosey of this trading space, bro. So
Yeah.
I
But
don't.
I fully,
Yeah.
fully think you can if you wanted to be, bro.
I'm saying, bro. So I just need to do the reps. Like that man fucking sat in his closet for 5 years doing podcasts, making books, not even doing content really. He thought he did what he thought he was doing, like he thought he was doing content, but he's just doing podcasts and all this stuff. And it didn't blow up until one piece blew up for people to go study all the other shit. So I'm trying to play the chess game where I'm building things that can be watchable for the future. And people question why I'm not hiring shit now and all this and that. But it's like, if I'm aiming to be an Alex Ramosi type beat, then maybe this doesn't happen until I'm 30. Maybe it doesn't happen until I'm 35. But what I do now is what will live for the greater impact of letting someone know that shit takes fucking time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I think that's what he did for me. So it's pretty crazy to watch him create all the things that he has, and then for me to look and see just how he takes the most complex situations and turn it into the dumbest fucking analogy of an apple to apple. And then it's like, fuck, and if you're smart enough to use it, bro, you just made a 10K business without having to pay anybody.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
yeah, so I want to do that, bro. I want to do that in trading. So that's what
Yeah. It's funny to hear you talk about the like time when you could see the vision of what you were becoming and what you were going to be. And like you knew that that few $100 or whatever, or the $800 or $1,000 you were getting a month, it was like nothing because you could already see the numbers on your trading screen. And I feel very in a similar position to that. It's like I'm seeing multiple $1,000 up and down every day. And it's like the stake right now, it is very expensive. It doesn't really make sense for me to be buying this shit, but I'm so numb to the numbers and I know that I'm actually am a millionaire trader right now and who I am and my personalities already. Like I've already become that person that it's just I'm waiting for the time just to catch up.
facts. Yeah, it's a crazy battle, bro. Like you wait for the time to catch up, and then you also have like who you used to be, and depending on what your day was like today, one voice is louder than the other, you know? One is like, bro, we're gonna get there, don't worry about that shit. And the other one's like, bro, you need to fucking size down. You know what I'm saying? You need to go to the fucking gym. You need to do nothing but live, breathe, and shit this shit, you know? And it's like you need both of them in balance, but it gets difficult when you have a season where one is just drilling you every day. You wake up and
Hmm.
that's the one that's talking to you most of the time. And when I'm here in Okinawa, bro, this shit is like subconscious. I am so in the driver's seat with my own manifestation, voice, and thoughts. But my subconscious mind has been on these roads on so many chapters of my life that when I am driving, I get a thought that I haven't thought of in like ages. And then I'm like, fuck, bro. And it carries so much energy of like, what my past was like and who I used to be, who I talked to, a conversation I might have had that then I didn't know was like just some simple shit. But now I look back and I'm like, fuck, I actually took that and turned it into this. And like the trajectory that it turned into is just like obscene, bro. So now when I'm talking to these people, it doesn't just correlate in trading. Now it's like I get to see, the emotion, I get to see the fucking all of it, like, black and white. And a lot of people, they want it, they want it to be unreadable. They want to be different. Their situation is different. This is the thing that's been bothering me so fucking much, bro. Like people want their situation to be different. They want their emotions to be unreadable. And all of this allows them to do what? And I just remember being that dude as well, where I used to wear a fucking hat because I felt like that just made me more fucking mysterious because I hated the fact that people would just look at me for who the fuck they thought I was? And like that little ass fucking accessory, a fucking hat, goes so deep into so many different thought processes. Like someone's selling me the idea, someone's selling me the identity. The world has made up an identity of someone who wears a hat that looks like this. And then there's a demeanor that comes with it. And all of that makes me want people to not be able to understand what the fuck I'm doing and where I'm going. And what does that do for me? That just hides the reality that people are going to come ask me about what the fuck I'm doing. So I say this to say, to make it short, is people want to be different and they don't want you to understand the emotions because it actually does feel the way it feels. And if they are different, then that means you don't have a solution for them. And when you do have a solution for them, it can't be that because it's something A, that they're not willing to do, and they really just don't want to accept that fact, or B, that they genuinely believe that they're just the 1% of the world and no one else in the world is the same. When you accomplish so much of this shit, bro, you just realize how much shit is actually the fucking same. Like it's all a system. Even the
Mm,
market repeats the same patterns fractally, and we do as humans too. And it's just crazy to now be in this position where it's not that I want everyone in the world to be the same, but it would be a disservice to the world if it wasn't. And I say that because if it wasn't different, then we would actually have systems and we can solve everyone's problems. But if
mm,
if everyone's different and unique, we're all different. We should all be accepted in the ways that we are. But we're not because you're still working a fucking $20 job. You're still wanting after work to go straight to the TV and consume someone's entertainment. Nothing about this stuff is different, but you want to feel different because it's you instead of the other millions and billions of people tapped into the same streaming service, same iPhone, and they're making technology to just create like consumer bubbles,
mm,
people that are just the same. And that shit is like I'm starting to see the Matrix be truly designed to its purest form than it ever was at one point.
mm.
So it's yeah,
You
crazy. Yeah.
you mentioned now you're having thoughts that you used to have and they're like hitting like much differently and they're also creating like you're realizing that that conversation or that thought created all of this. I'm just interested to what do you mean by it created all of this? What was that experience?
It's just like when someone sits there in your face and they tell you like, ah, you'll never be able to do that. And then it's like, why not? And then they're just like, well, I mean, you being able to do that? And it's just like, why the fuck can't I? You know what I mean? And it's like that was my mindset all the time. And I would like genuinely have debates and arguments with people and just say, like, why the fuck would I not be able to do that? And they're just like, well, you're just not allowed. You can't, like you're I'm like, who the fuck told you this? You know?
What gave you that?
What? Oh, to the
Because all of that is the normal common mind frame, mind state, mind cage that prevents them from doing that. What and you've obviously you've come from absolute the bottom of the barrel. So why do you think something was so different in your brain to allow you to deflect all that bullshit and not become one of those?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that happened was like proof of concept. Like I don't know what happened with me per se, but like I went to the Marine Corps. The first thing when I went to boot camp, I had this perception that the Marine Corps was going to be like the biggest dudes I ever saw in my fucking life. And I've been the shortest guy everywhere I went. I was never really buff, but I knew I wanted to be a Marine. So I went to the gym from 16 years old all the way until my boot camp date, which maybe was like a year. And I put in effort, bro. Like I'm running every day. I'm putting fucking high freaking the training mask on this bitch. I'm getting body hardened. My dude's fucking punching me in my fucking abs. And I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just know that I need to get big as fuck and I need to not give a fuck about pain. So I used to envision my parents and my brother and my sister being fucking taken in a helicopter. And I'm like, fuck, how the fuck am I gonna get these motherfuckers? So I guess I'm gonna chase this helicopter down because I don't got a fucking car. So I would just run a mile as fast as I could because I'm like, this is what life is probably gonna be like. I don't know. So like I manifested a lot of this energy in my brain to just tell me like, you need to be willing to fucking die as the end result or make it there. And I designed that for a year. And then when I got into the military boot camp, these motherfuckers were like fat, bro. Like 70% of these dudes were just fucking fat. Like you look like you've never been to the gym a day in your life. And I just fucking did the most obscene training. I should have fucking died on half of the shit I was fucking training for. Just to get here and be next to you, to get the same opportunity as a Marine, that made me feel like, holy shit, what the fuck are we talking about right now? And I realized the world is a perception. It's just a perception. So why the fuck would I want a perception that just tells me that I can be mediocre and still get what everyone else has? That is what changed. That's what made me say, well, fuck that shit, bro. I'm always gonna aim for the highest. So that way, if I fall off short from the highest, at least I'm above these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And that was my mindset. And I would always compare myself to people. And that's why I never compare myself now, because I got to use that mindset to get me to where I needed to be. And now I have that voice in my head that just nurtures me so well that I don't need to compare to you because I'm compared to my old self. And my old self was probably better than a lot of the motherfuckers I get to meet in a day. You know,
Mm,
it's like he was willing to do a lot of shit. Yeah, so that's what gave that shit to me, bro. And that shit was fucking like it was heavy while I held it, but it brings me so much peace now because I realized that I had to go that hard because I didn't have the knowledge to know how to do shit right, you know. But now I realize that when you work smarter and not harder, you don't need to push that hard. You don't need to keep killing yourself. You just need to ask, has someone done this before? And if they have, then there's probably a system for you to do it too. So just study and do it right, you know? Stop trying to fucking put yourself against the wall just to do this shit all by yourself.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's epic. And what we chatted about earlier as well about like not only doing shitloads of work and eating shit and like just grinding day in and day out, but actually doing the right actions to
Yeah.
get a result from that. Because I related when you said that so much because I was in uni and bro, I've never worked so hard in my life. Like I was working two jobs and then I was also trying to fucking make online income on top of that.
Yeah.
So like I would be up maybe like 20 hours of the day just to try fucking make something work. And nothing was working, bro. I was trying all these online business things for fucking, I'd say a year and like spending all my brain power on actually trying to make these work. But bro, I just was putting in serious work on things that didn't make any sense, that didn't give you or guarantee any ROI whatsoever. Like an example of it, I would just decide, okay, every day for the next month or 2 months, I'm going to call 100 businesses and try get their work and like try sign them as a client. Like the actions could have been so much better. And that's now when I'm working, I need to make sure I'm getting something from that work. Is it epiphany? Is it a result? And then I take that to my back testing. Okay, when I'm back testing or when I buy a combine account and I fail that account, it's not like, oh, fucking there goes another one.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's okay. Right. What lesson did I learn from that combine account?
Mm.
What and have I made that mistake before?
Facts.
No. Okay. Well, I tried this strategy and maybe because I'm in my back ups against the wall, I found myself not taking the A plus strategy because I was wanting this to work too quickly. Okay, so I write a full thing on that. Then I get ChatGPT to fully analyze and dissect that. Okay, now I've fucking learned something. So I've spent that $100 or $150 to get this lesson that now if I can cement this lesson in my brain, I cannot make that again. And I've improved as a result of that.
Mm.
My trading journey has progressed. It's like in a video game, you're level 20. I've got now gone to level 21 because of that loss or that expenditure.
Mm. No, it's facts, bro. And that's like you actually are measuring, you know, and when you measure, you get to see what does give you the efficiencies, you know, and I think that's what I wish I could have understood and also have been able to see because I think the hardest part for a lot of young people, and I'll say young people as in the mind, maybe sometime in age as well, but also in experience, right? If you went to go do something that you've never done before, you are literally a child of that industry.
Mm,
So when you're in that young state of mind, you can't identify greatness. You can't measure it. If you were given greatness first, you would then go study all of this stuff and realize that it's all shit. But if you never come back to the first thing you had, you'll never realize that you had greatness from the beginning. But if there's no comparison, there is no greatness. It just is what it was. And that being said, there's a lot of things that people get immediately when they're in the infancy of any journey because they went and sought someone who was doing it well. But now you're given gems in the beginning and you don't know that they're gems until you start to fail, and then you realize just how important they are and how to move them forward. And I think
Mm,
the difference between the young man who is looking and seeking is one that also has this thing in his mind that he wants to do it. So if he wants to do it, he can't just take another man's ideology and use it. He needs to be involved in the creation and efforts of it. Whereas someone else, if I went to school and I want to be taught how to do something, you're there to be a student and you're there to just take the gem and use it the way it was presented to you. And if that teaching has the infrastructure to take you from you're learning this, and by the end of it, you should be able to do this, then you will just be a complete student and get the outcome you're supposed to get. That's what a certification would be. So if you went to go get a CDL to drive a truck, you get to learn all the intricacies about the truck. You might not use them all, but now that you have your CDLs, you can go up to your next job and all you do is get in your car and you take this from there and this to there. That's being a student. But imagine if you're the guy who goes to this trucking school to know how it drives because one day you want to make your own truck. So you went to school to learn how to drive it so you can just see how it works so you can go try to make your own when there's someone already teaching you how to create it. So why are you going the opposing way on studying this stuff when you can go straight to the source for exactly what you want to do? And I
mm,
think a lot of young individuals don't realize what the end result that they actually want. When you want to create a good business in your life, you don't even know what the hell that means when you're starting in the infancy, right? So if you wanted a good business, you could just go buy one, right? But if you just go buy one, then what does that put us in? Well, do I have the capital for that? You know what I mean? And there's a lot of intricacies that you end up getting into. And that is what takes you on these little side quest journeys until you finally realize, holy fuck, I've been running hella side quests and I totally forgot what I wanted in the end. And that was this. But now all those side quests add up to you achieving what you need to. And then you start to look at other people and say, hey, bro, I see the outcome you want, but you're doing a bunch of fucking side quests. Like, why aren't you doing the main thing? And that's
mm,
where you get to realize what good mentors look like. But as a
mm,
kid, you don't see good mentors. You're just listening to people promising you things. And sometimes
mm,
it's hard to listen to a promise and put your future into it, because not everybody's willing to put that much effort in with you.
mm.
Um, so I think,
Yeah, I'm sure you see that shit all the time. And I wonder when you say that, I'm like, am I doing that as well? Like, am I doing that by not just using the domes and exactly what X is teaching? Is am I doing exactly that? What do you what do you think's the answer to that?
yeah, bro. I mean, technically, yeah, we didn't start off with a school of like, hey, just take this and it'll take you from A to Z. You know,
Mm,
when we started, it was always like well, why does it do this? Well, why does it do that? And it
mm,
became a philosophy journey, which eventually would just give you all of my tools, but then you will use those to discover your own as well. And I think that again goes into the side quest space to finally realize, like, did you want to become a trader? Because when
mm,
we first started, like, you were on the mission with Kilo, I believe, to do like, fitness stuff and a business. And that end result just shows that I want to make money. So you didn't care what system was going to take you there. But after discovering a lot of the reasons and the similarities in trading on how you could analytically lead yourself to that end goal, I think eventually down the road you wanted to become a trader,
mm,
and now that workup didn't allow you to just say, okay, I'm gonna be a student to it because you had so much different stuff to come with. So I think that to answer your question in short is like you you don't follow it like that because that's not how it was introduced. But now where we are, where you understand all those intricacies, you have understood a fuck ton of it, but you're still in the mindset of using it the way that you perceive it. But you have so much know-how that you can, and all that time that you have put into this already, someone else doesn't. So if they wanted that result faster, they would probably take 2 to 3 years to get what you got in just the 8 months of us just fucking working together.
mm,
So yeah, I don't look at it like that at all. But what I do see is like it comes down to having trust issues with someone else. And I think you don't have that. When you speak to me, you take notes, you put it into effort, and you actually like come back and be like, yo, I tried this shit. This worked, this didn't. And that is all you can ask for when it comes down to like mentoring, and a
Hmm.
mentorship.